In order, everybody get a chance to review the agenda.
Yep.
Don't believe we have any amendments, so do we have a motion to approve?
Move to approve the agenda as presented.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
And vote by roll call.
All right. Counselor Bambrick is not here. Counselor Caceres?
Aye.
Counselor Seha?
Aye.
Counselor Ecclestone?
Aye.
Counselor Purdy?
Aye.
Counselor Sini?
Aye.
Mayor Clevenger?
Aye.
Okay. That is a unanimous vote. Motion passes.
All right. Do we have any public comment? So for the attendees, you should have the option to raise your hand. It should be a little button down at the bottom, I believe. But if you have any comment, you can go ahead and click that raise your hand button. We'll pull you into the room. I'm not seeing any. So consent agenda. Everybody have a chance to read through the minutes. Any questions, comments, concerns, issues? You have a motion to approve?
Move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Vote by roll call.
Okay. Counselor Caceres?
Aye.
Counselor Seha?
Aye.
Counselor Ecclestone?
Aye.
Counselor Purdy?
Aye.
Counselor Sini?
Aye.
Mayor Clevenger?
Aye.
That's a unanimous vote. Motion passes.
All right. No public hearings, no old business, new business, Public Works mower purchase. Take it away, Ron.
All right, thank you, Mayor. This item before us tonight is to consider the purchase of a new slope mower. The city's previous, or the equipment that we're replacing is more than 25 years old, and the piece of equipment is intended to mow up to 30-degree slopes without a safety concern, so without tipping over. So it's got suspension underneath it that allows the chassis to move one way and the mow deck basically to move the other. This is a piece of equipment that's been problematic for the last couple of years here at the city, but we've been trying to, well, at least the last few years, we've been trying to, Band-Aid it, and finally Public Works came to me and said, it's really cost prohibitive now to continue to fix some of these issues. So I asked them to go out and get at least 3 estimates of equipment, and I asked them not to necessarily look at what we call a do easy, which is basically a mower that's built on 2 wheels with a deck that's mounted on it, so the heavy portion of the mower can move side to side like this, so you can maintain balance. And I said, see what other opportunities are out there to make sure that we're covering all of our bases and spending the city dollars wisely. Plus, we really, even though that there's money in the Public Works equipment fund that we can use to purchase this, wasn't really on our radar screen this year. We're trying to do a new building and some other long-term projects out at Public Works. So we looked at other options, and they ended up selecting one of those other options. And that was the one that's in front of you for consideration. There are flyers that show each of the pieces of equipment, what they look like, what are some of the options that you can get with that equipment. And I also believe our Public Works Department tested the equipment that was the least expensive bid price to be able to accomplish this task. And they tested it out, as I understand, on some of those steeper areas, and feel comfortable recommending this purchase to council. So you can look at those estimates. They range anywhere from, I had them just here at the top of my head, but I've lost them. They range anywhere from 59,800 down to our lowest estimate, which was the 41,152. So you can see there's almost a $20,000 gap between one piece of equipment and the lowest piece of equipment, or the highest and the lowest. So the staff's recommendation is to support the purchase of the Ventrac mower with an additional boom mower attachment. There's other equipment listed there for the 41,152. This particular piece of equipment has 4 wheels. It actually has 8 wheels, I guess, 2 wheels side by side. And that provides the stabilization to be able to be on those long 30-degree slopes. The extra boom mower will come in handy. We're now taking care of Heiberger Ditch, and we think that'll be an asset for helping to maintain that ditch a little bit more effectively. And so this is the recommendation from staff, is to purchase the Ventrac mower, and I can answer any questions that you may have.
Anybody got anything?
I kind of do. So with this, is this going to be sufficient enough, like long-term? We don't have anything, since the last one lasted 25 years, we don't see anything in 10 years that this isn't going to be able to do, and we'll be looking at getting some other equipment that this mower may have limitations on, that we might consider just a little bit larger, just to make sure that we're covering things that could be up and coming.
Well, it's hard to anticipate what those things could be. This meets our current needs and provides the same functionality as the piece of equipment that we're replacing. I mean, that's not to say that something's not going to pop up in the future, but when we conducted a needs assessment of what does this piece of equipment we're going to purchase need to be able to do, and all 3 of these pieces of equipment that we received estimates for checks the boxes in all those areas. So, you know, with equipment, yes, this 25, it's replacing a piece of equipment 25 years old. We have a lot of aging equipment. You know, we as you know, a lot of our equipment is in excess of that. So we're just trying to replace it as we go. I mean, it would be difficult for me. There are other things that we could do. You know, there's backhoe mowers and different things of that are much more versatile, but they may be too big for what we're encountering right now. And then we'd want to make sure that we could justify the expenditure of getting a piece of equipment like that. And so you want to try to align it with whatever your needs are. So I guess the answer to your question is we've anticipated as best we could our at least immediate future needs.
All right. Just want to make sure that if the employees are recommending this, I would go along with it. But if they're saying it would be great to have this, but if we also got these other attachments that would help replace some other machines that are about to go out, consider those too. And then that way kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone. But I don't know what else is kind of like at its end life that we should be looking at.
Well, there's lots of equipment out at Public Works is I wouldn't say necessarily at its end life, because it tends to die when it dies. You know, everything's mechanical. I think that's one of the reasons why we had that discussion last year about a building being placed out there, because a lot of our equipment is exposed to the elements and open. And so there's a lot of reasons why we really need to have something that's more permanent and enclosed in our facilities. So The process, just to ease your mind, when Public Works comes to me with a request like this, I don't go out and test this equipment myself. They're the professionals. They know what they need. They know what the tasks are and the jobs are, and I pretty much let them go out and find the equipment. And now in this particular case, I asked them to broaden their perspective a little bit, just because I always ask that. I look and I say the same things that you're saying to me. Look at what your immediate needs are, but look at what some of the other needs might be, and don't feel like we need to replace one piece of equipment with the same type of equipment. We replaced a mower, I think, last year, and it was a very similar situations where I believe it was like a riding mower that has a steering wheel and you can't really do tight turns. And I said, well, look at you don't have to replace a John Deere with a John Deere. Go look and see what else is out there. There may be features and options that work better, and we did that, and it was the same thing. They really enjoy the new mower that they got. So because it cuts down oftentimes on their work and their time. So this was the piece of equipment they're recommending. They picked it out. They sent the recommendation to me, and I forwarded it to you.
Okay.
City attorney did review the process that we engaged in to solicit the 3 bids to make sure that we were following the requirements of contracting rules, and he's signed off on it.
Legal beagle, baby.
Yeah, and with that, that we can still buy attachments for it later on. The Ventrax, it's a boom attachment to it, so it's not just a one-trick pony. It's a multi-use small tractor that we can pick up other attachments for later on. So like even getting this doesn't prohibit us if we need for a larger area to get like a flail mower that goes behind it or something like that later on. We'd still be able to do that.
Perfect. Yeah, I was just looking at the stuff that's handed to us. It's just going, okay, did they look at multi-use, multi-purpose pieces of equipment that could, if something else goes down, it might even be able to temporarily cover another piece of equipment. So that's good. Perfect.
Yeah.
Ron, how is this gonna have any financial effect on the proposed building that we had already approved?
Well, yes and no. It puts us, $42,000 further away from the purchase of the building. And so just to clarify, we've approved a plan to move forward and put together a building proposal. So we haven't actually purchased a building or approved a purchase of a building. And with that, what we did was we went back after we had put together some estimates ourselves by talking to some building contractors and building kit companies and things of that nature. We went back and sent that to our engineer to go ahead and start the work of engineering that project. And his estimates are 3 times higher than what our estimates are. So we're trying to reconcile that with our engineering company, because you don't want to put out a prospective bid that says your engineering estimates are, $1.2 million when you've only got a $400,000 budget, because largely companies will bid in the area of those engineering estimates. And so this is one of those things where if we were just going out as a private citizen and building the building, we could be all in for, maybe $400,000, but because we're a government entity and we've got to jump through certain hoops, it could be 3 times that amount. And that's just the process that is out there. So we're still working on it, Angie, because we want to make sure that we've got a good, solid plan that's affordable for the city. But likely the estimates will come in higher just because, not because of the practicality of us purchasing the building or having a contractor put it up, but the other hoops that we have to jump through.
All right, thanks.
Anybody else have anything? We got a motion?
Move to approve the purchase of the Ventric mower with additional booming attachment for $41,000 and 52 as presented by staff.
Do we have a
I'll
second?
second.
All right.
Second.
Vote by roll call. I think you're muted, Colleen.
Thank you. Sorry about that. All right. Counselor Bambrick,
Aye.
Counselor Caceres,
Aye.
Counselor Seja,
Aye.
Counselor Ecclestone,
Aye.
Counselor Purdy,
Aye.
Counselor Sini,
Aye.
Mayor Clevenger.
Aye.
That is a unanimous vote. Motion passes.
All right. And just to throw this out there, Angie, not like money's falling off trees for us or anything, but I do think at, $41,000, that's not something that couldn't potentially be made up fairly easily through grants or other aspects. It's not something that's so cost prohibitive that it's going to like set back us having a new building for years. All right. Ron, your report, please.
Mayor, my report is really short tonight, unless there's questions from council. Just to update council, our positive COVID case rate actually took quite a little bit of a jump in the last week, almost a 20% jump. We are up to 43 positive cases. Now, keep in mind, those are ongoing numbers. So since the beginning of COVID, my guess is I'm not sure how they purge people once they're tested positive, but my guess is it's pretty difficult to get purged because I've not seen too many people come off our count as of now. So 43 positive cases in total. We are still following our COVID protocol at City Hall as best we can. And I think everybody's feeling comfortable with the work environment. We're still doing our meetings virtual, and that seems to be working fine for any business style meetings that we need to do, at least at this point. And with that, if you have any questions, I'm happy to take those.
That's the shortest report ever, Ron.
Wanted to keep it short.
You get a gold star sticker for the day.
Can I
Anybody have
ask him some questions? I could make it longer by asking questions, Derek.
Not if you don't have to. Does anybody have any questions? All right. Mayor and council reports. Anybody got anything? About stuff for the good of the order. Anybody have anything? I just wanted to go ahead and put it out to council. My AFPA schedule got tweaked just a little bit. So originally I was set to come home on the 2nd of December. Now I will be coming home on the 15th of December. With that being said, it means there will be no one at the Christmas party wearing an ugly sweater suit. So I am nominating Ron to go ahead and wear one, just because I feel like that's something we really need to keep going. We do have a group of us that have been planning a small fundraiser for the Santiam Canyon Wildfire Relief Fund. So it looks like we will be doing that on October 10th. We already have the park reserved. We're following all the COVID guidelines, all that kind of stuff. We got a couple of sponsors. We'll be doing a silent auction, a raffle, a trivia contest. We're going to have a couple food trucks out there. And then we are doing a larger event that we are calling the Costume Olympics. But, I'd appreciate people, letting your family, friends, whoever you know in town, let them know about the event so we can get as many people as possible and hopefully raise some money for this fund. Yeah, I think that's it. That's all I got. So if there is nothing else, we can go ahead and adjourn the meeting. 7:25.
Mayor, was there still discussion of a growler fill station at that event?
Yeah.
I'm just wondering I'm wondering if we should just get the nod from council. That would have been the only thing.
We can.
The event, my review of the event is it's will fit within all of our guidelines, but just because the way the wording of our ordinance.
Yeah. So to give everyone heads up, there was discussion about, since it didn't happen at Cornfest, trying to do a similar growler fill station type thing. I've been talking with a few different groups actually about doing it. It sounds like Gilgamesh may be the only one that can make it happen. We're still not really quite there yet on the planning, which is why I didn't bring it up. I figured I'd bring it up at the next meeting before the fundraiser. But I mean, it's essentially the same thing that we had already approved for the Cornfest. So if we are going to do it, I guess it'd be nice to go ahead and get the north-south from the council that everybody's cool with that. I just remind everyone there would be no consumption of alcohol on the premises. It is purely they show up, they pay X number of dollars, they get a growler filled, and they take it with them. And then we would be asking the same that we're asking of the food trucks, which is roughly 30% of total sales go to the Wildfire Relief Fund. So does anybody have any major objections to doing that?
So this event is going to be at Mill Creek Park?
This would be at Mill Creek Park, yes.
Okay. Would there be security on site to ensure there's no consumption at the park?
It would be similar to how we have it at Cornfest. So we're not going to hire additional security, but all the city ordinances and everything would still be enforced as they normally are.
Thank you.
So, I mean, if nobody has any major issues with it, then we can go ahead and move
I don't
forward.
have any major, as long as it's like following the same guidelines that was already approved for the Cornfest.
Yeah.
It's the way that I see it, it's basically just moving the date over for an event that was already approved.
I mean, and I will be there. And I mean, if I see someone putting a straw in their growler, I'll remind them, hey, you can't do that. But the whole purpose of it is not, to have a beer garden or anything along those lines. It was just yet another small source of income to try and push some money over to this Wildfire Relief Fund.
Strict way to go.
The other thing about it too is just because of the COVID restrictions and the time of the year and the way that the event's being organized, the participation, the numbers of people there are fairly small at any one time. So I think it'd be fairly easy to monitor.
Yeah, and the way we've got the larger portion of the event set up, the Costume Olympics, we'll have a start time and a show time for the teams as they compete, and they're just competing through events as a team, not against each other. So that way we can limit the number of people that are present at the park while the event is going on. And so that's kind of one of our contingencies, is to help keep those numbers down so that we don't run into an issue where, you've got someone sneaking off to their car and pounding down a 6-pack real quick. But all right, I'm not hearing any major objections, so we'll move forward with that. If there's nothing else.
Mayor, could we actually get a motion and a vote on that? Only because of the way the wording of the park ordinance is, I think it would be best.
Okay, we can go ahead and do that. Do we have a motion?
I move to allow strict way to go growler fill sales to be permitted to be able to be as part of the fundraiser for this event per our ordinances and policies we have in place, as well as self-policing by all volunteers involved, including myself and the mayor.
Do we have a second?
Second that.
Go ahead and vote by roll call.
Okay. Counselor Bambrick,
Aye.
Counselor Caceres,
Aye.
Counselor Seja,
Aye.
Counselor Ecclestone,
Aye.
Counselor Purdy,
Aye.
Counselor Sini,
Stay.
Nay.
Counselor excuse me, Mayor Clevenger.
I can be a counselor. That's fine. Aye.
All right. Motion passes 6-1.
Thank you.
All right. I mean, I was trying to beat our time record, Ron, but guess it is what it is. So if there's nothing else, I've got 7:31. We will go ahead and adjourn the meeting.